Hey, this is Joe, and today I'm going to tell you how to smoke chicken on the grill without a smoker. We're just going to smoke it on a regular Weber charcoal grill. You can pick these things up pretty cheap on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. It's the easiest way to smoke meat to get the good smoky taste. You got to do this. I do this almost every time I grill at the end. So I've grilled all my other meat and I'm just going to throw some chicken on there at the end just to smoke it. And I'm going to take that to work for my lunch for that week. It works really good and it's a cheap way to get really good food at work. Since I've already grilled a whole bunch of burgers and some sausages as you see there, I'm throwing some charcoal just to recharge my grill. Just carefully pick up the grate using one of your grill tools and throw them on there. Easy enough. Because we got to let those coals get hot, because this process is going to take 35-40 minutes, and I'm actually going to do it while I'm eating the food that I cooked for everyone else. We're going to let this thing smoke while we're actually having dinner. But this is chunks of apple wood, limb wood, so it's from a limb, and it's about 1 inch thick, and they've been soaking in water for a couple of hours. All we're going to do with this is we're going to take a few of these. You don't need that many. I don't know, 4 or 5 is more than enough. And we're just going to pick up the grate and toss them right in there and let them get hot. Once they start catching on fire, they're hot, but you can just put them right on the coals though. You don't need a box, you don't need to worry about controlled temperatures, none of that. You don't need any of that stuff for this process. And you're going to wind up with some absolutely delicious, sweet smoked chicken in the end. I love it because I go through our grocery store and look for the meat that's about to expire that's heavily discounted. I can usually get drumsticks or dark chicken meat for like 80 cents a pound, and I'll buy 4 or 5 pounds and just throw it on here at the end after I've grilled all the steaks, all the burgers, all that stuff. But these are just drumsticks, and I'm actually only had a pack of these, so I'm just going to toss them on here and start to season them. I actually forgot to season them. This was like an afterthought, but looked in the freezer and found this. Said okay, but I'm just going to take some Montreal seasoning and just douse them real quick, and then I'll use my tongs to smash it down on there, because you want to try to smash the seasoning into the chicken when you're doing it. It helps it hold it better and make the flavor better. But what we're going to do here is we're going to follow basically the 5 minutes rule for searing meat. So we're going to cook it on the hot side of the coal, or on the hot side of the grill where the coals are, for about 4 or 5 minutes to get some color, some sear marks, and we'll set a timer and wait for that. Okay, so I guess I went 5 minutes. Okay, good. I went 5 minutes, and we're going to do that, flip it, and then we'll set the timer again for 5 minutes, and then we'll move them off. Now my coals are still getting hot. They're not totally hot, but my old fire wasn't out either though, so this should work okay. We can see that my applewood's probably starting to smoke now because of the smoke that's pouring out of there. It's not necessarily from the fat from the chicken, but anyways, come through and flip them. And now obviously I made a mistake by not seasoning the meat before all this, but so don't do what I did, but I'll give it another douse of the Montreal. But this works really good though, and apparently I got a hot spot there too, but that's okay. And this is part of a series of videos I'm making on charcoal grilling, and I'll just keep adding to it as I remember to videotape myself grilling food. But smoking chicken is one of the best ways to get some of the... I would rather have smoked chicken than almost any other kind of food, I think, but unfortunately my wife does not care for it so much. At least any meat that comes off a bone. Don't ask me why. She makes the best chicken wings in the world, but she won't eat them because they come off a bone. Anyways, we're going to set our timer. We're going to let that sear. Once that time is up, here's where it gets easy. We can see the smoke's pouring out of the grill now. The applewood is fully going, and that it really doesn't take that much smoke to add a whole lot of flavor to your meat. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to take our chicken and we're going to get it off the coals into the back of the grill, and then we're going to throttle down the grill. So we're not going to close the vents off, but we are going to close them substantially. Check to make sure that you're happy with the coloring of the meat. If you're not, you can move it around and let it sit a little longer to get better grill marks if you want. I'm not terribly worried about it, but I don't know, I always end up doing it this way. The ones that I think need just a little more, I'll move them last. I guess that's just an odd thing I do. But anyways, now that that's done, we are going to put our lid back on, and we are going to close off the vent here in just a second. Just wondering what the heck I was doing there. Okay. And so anyways, I'm going to close it to about half open. So that's going to reduce the airflow through here. It's going to make it for a slower cook. And I'm going to put a timer on for 30 minutes, and I am going to go have dinner. And we will just let this sit here and cook until the timer goes off. Now, here I am back, and my timer was dinging at me. And we are going to check it, and we'll check the temperature of this because, you know, serving undercooked chicken could be a problem. And even doing this process, I have had it where I had to let these go on the coals longer than 30 minutes. It's rare, but it does happen. So get a meat thermometer if you don't have one. You can buy them for like $2 at Walmart. But anyways, we're just going to stick that meat thermometer in the chicken and just make sure that we get to 165 Fahrenheit or whatever that is in Celsius. I'm not sure. But you know, just to make sure that we're safe. But as you can see, in warm temperatures, this process works flawlessly. In cold temperatures, I have had to add a little more coal earlier before I smoked it, or just moved them over the coals for another 5 minutes to finish them off. But we're well past 160 there. It was going to 170. So this chicken's done. And we'll get a close look here on what it looks like in a second. And I will tell you, yes, it does taste as good as it looks. I do this, I won't say every single time I grill, but I do this very often. Probably 2 out of 3 times I grill meat, I'll do this at the end just so that I can have the most delicious lunch in the world for that week at work. Make all my coworkers jealous when this comes out. But there she is. And yes, it is tasty. It looks pretty. It is pretty. It's got the smoky color, the smoky flavor. And applewood's pretty easy to come by. You know anyone who's got an apple tree, go ask them if they got any dead limbs. You know, you just go cut one of those off and slice it up. You don't need big pieces to, you know, you don't need the wood chips. Get the big chunks. That's the way to do it. So again, this is not my normal video material, but it's part of a little playlist I made on grilling. So maybe check it out. You can see how to do the perfect burgers, how to light the grills, all that stuff as I keep adding to it. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and drop me a comment if you got any questions, or if you think I'm doing something stupid, tell me. But other than that, thank you guys and have a good one.